investigation, solving mysteries in the night. Chasing shadows, finding answers, shining bright light. No one's left behind, in the darkness all alone. With a heart like a siren, she brings the lost ones home. Silent cries in the dark no longer have to be, for justice wheels keep turning, granny on the beat. Broken voices find their power, call out hope again. When these crime busters run, no victims left to pay. Bravery in her veins, truth she won't disguise. With a fire in her eyes, she's got nothing to deny. Granny fights for justice, never backs down from the call. For the voiceless and the missing, she'll stand tall.
Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing this evening? Saturday evening. Hello, Bobby. I hope you made it back. Lori, hello. Ginger, hello. Phoenix, hello. Good to see you. Osprey, welcome in. Happy to have you guys back. Let's get started with our spotlight on the missing. We have Jada Christine Grayson, missing since July 10th, last seen in Cleveland, Ohio. She is 15 years old. She may still be in the area. If anyone knows anything about her whereabouts or her disappearance, please call Cleveland, Ohio Police Department or 911. We need to get our children home. Then we also have, let's not forget about Jonathan Wang, 21-year-old autistic male, high functioning, but does present as a 10-year-old. The only social interaction he's mostly had has been with his family. He doesn't know how to take care of himself. Possibly last seen in Kirkland, Washington. If anyone sees him, he does respond to his name, but call 911. Okay. Then we have Sebastian Rogers, our little buddy from Hendersonville, Tennessee. There's a $500,000 reward out for Sebastian. And Sebastian needs to come home to his dad. He just does. There are billboards all over the United States and even into Mexico, guys. So if anybody knows anything, please call 911. All right. Travis Decker, still on the loose. He is wanted for taking the lives of his 3 little babies. I say little babies because they are little to me, but Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia seen there with their mother. Precious little girls. All the mother had left. Travis is considered to be armed and dangerous. Do not approach if you do see him. Call 911 immediately. Could be in the Washington area. It's been a while since he's been seen. So, I mean, he could have taken his own life. They don't know. The next thing I wanted to show you is something that was just sent to me, which I think we should take a look at here. Police ask for the public's help in finding nonverbal. Very sad. Dayton, Ohio. Police are asking the community for help in locating a nonverbal 8-year-old boy with autism. The Dayton Police Department reported that 8-year-old Herschel Kreechbaum went missing from the 400 block of Xenia Avenue around 3:30 p.m. on Saturday. According to officials, the child is autistic and nonverbal, mostly using a wheelchair. The wheelchair has been found, but it was reported that Creechbaum can only walk short distances. Officials said he was last seen wearing a gray t-shirt with cartoons and gray sweatpants. Police described Creechbaum as having brown hair and hazel eyes. If you have any information on the whereabouts of Little Herschel, please call the Dayton Police Department at 937-333-2677. Goodness sakes, he just went missing a couple hours ago, guys. Wheelchair found, but he's not around it. That does not sound good to me at all. At all. Poor little thing. All right, so let's see. It's actually not too bad today, but yeah, I did put the AC on. We've got a really nice cool breeze going on here, so that's a good thing. So I thought I'd take a little bit different look at our Jack and Lily case, right? Because we have kind of touched on it, but we have not really talked about it too much as far as whether Daniel was controlling Malehya or not. So I did look up a few things, want to kind of share them with you, and then we'll watch Mike Demand's video about this subject and see what he has to say and have a discussion about it. So let's go ahead, share my screen with you. All right. So 6 warning signs of isolation and emotional abuse. Number 1, your partner insists on as much one-on-one time as possible. One-on-one time should be part of any long-term healthy relationship, but when all of your time is spent solely with your partner to the total exclusion of other relationships, it could be a warning sign that he or she is trying to isolate you. While his or her request for all your time can feel romantic, that romance may be a thin cover to hide what is, in fact, an increasing amount of control and domination. So one-on-one time, and in my experience, the one-on-one time wasn't always romantic. It was just, no, you don't need to go anywhere. Just stay here. Even if he was out enjoying himself, it's just very sad. Number 2, your partner refuses to interact with your friends and family. This was another one from my experience as well. Family and friends are an important part of your life, and your SO should want to get to know them. An abuser, however, will actively avoid those relationships. He or she may refuse to spend time with your friends or family. He or she may be so actively rude or unpleasant to them that they refuse to spend time with him. This tactic also reinforces the abuser's emotional manipulation and gaslighting, as he or she deflects the blame for the worsening relationships onto your family and friends. Any of these hitting you guys at all? It's only 88 there. Yeah. I don't know what it is here. Let me look. Looking. It's only 76 here, so it's not hot. Unspoken Heart Stillness. Hello. Welcome in. Anne Elizabeth, good to see you. All right. So let's continue on to number 3. Your partner invents reasons why you should not see friends and family. Does your partner cancel your plans without asking or come up with alternative plans anytime you mention spending time with your friends and family? On hearing that you plan to eat out with friends, for example, he or she will say, I just made reservations for us to eat out together, or my mother just told me she's coming to dinner with us together. Although it's clear that these plans weren't formed until he or she heard about your plans. Again, this spontaneity can feel romantic at first, but when this behavior becomes a pattern of preventing you from seeing your family and friends, it should be a warning sign. Absolutely. Your partner uses jealousy, guilt, or other emotional manipulation. Jealousy and guilt are both powerful forms of emotional manipulation that abusers use to great effect when trying to isolate their partner from family and friends. Making you feel guilty because you enjoy spending time with other friends, for example, implies that spending time with other friends is wrong when in fact it's perfectly normal and healthy. He or she might say that you care more for your friends or family than you do for him or her, or he or she might constantly tell you that he or she is the only one who really understands and loves you. Claiming to be jealous can be another powerful tool in the abuser's arsenal. To prevent your partner's jealousy, you give up certain friendships to prove that you love him or her. And giving up these friendships again plays into the abuser's gaslighting narrative that your isolation is your fault. So let's see here. Hello, Mike. Good to see you. So those of you that are just coming in, we are going over the 6 warning signs um, of emotional abuse. And we're leading up to a video by Mike DeMann where he talks about Daniel attempting to control Malehya. And I wanted to get experts' opinions on what it is to kind of set it up to see, was she really abused and controlled? In my opinion, there were quite a few people pushing the mom down. Durwood, Dogwood, Darren, Dog Breath. To cousin Logan, the brother, perhaps the father. Yeah, we just don't know how far it went, do we? I mean, we really don't know. I think the mother probably had a big thing to do with it, but I don't know. All right, let's continue on. So number 5, your partner checks in on you constantly. It's normal for both partners in a committed relationship to know where the other's plans and check in on them occasionally. However, when checking in turns into constant surveillance, that could be a sign that your partner is trying to isolate you. For example, your partner may call you every hour or more frequently the entire time that you are out. He or she may get angry or abusive if you don't return a call or a text instantaneously. Hanging around unrequested while you eat or shop with friends, or unexpectedly showing up to give you a ride or just to check in are all signs that your SO does not want you to have the freedom to socialize with friends and family outside the relationship. Your partner insists on knowing all your passwords. Monitoring all forms of communications with the outside world is another controlling tactic that can be a signal of isolation and emotional abuse. Your partner may insist that you share email addresses and give him the passwords to your phone and social media accounts, for instance. He or she may insist on reading all of your text messages or even tell you what you can or cannot say. By controlling your ability to speak openly and freely with the outside world, the abusive partner is preventing you from sharing your feelings, getting a different perspective on normal relationships, and ultimately asking for help. Emotional abuse and isolation as a control tactic can be difficult to recognize, but it is no less dangerous and damaging than physical abuse. If these or other warning signs resonate with you, listen to your instinct and know that help is available. Asking for help is difficult, especially if you've been isolated from your support network. But no matter how long it's been, your friends and family are worried about you and they will be there to help support and love you. And if that was the case with Malaya, I would really have hoped that she would have reached out. But uh, if this was the case, it was much too late. Timu account getting there was financial control. Yeah, I agree. So we're seeing a few things. We're seeing Malaya stated to Belinda that there was he did not want her to go over there with the kids. He did not want her to give out their address. That's isolation, guys. That's pretty controlling. You know, if those things are true, what she's saying, and then going onto her account on Timu, that's, yeah. What else did he control behind the scenes, right? What else did he control behind the scenes? It's a scary thought, especially for anyone who has been through it, right? It is a really scary thought to know that someone was being controlled and abused that way. Something to hide sometimes, but typically, they are, these men are just, very controlling. It's just, I can't even explain it. My children's dad, my first husband, was like that. He controlled financially. You want to talk about financial? Yes. I worked. He took my paycheck, paid bills, gave me $40 a week to buy groceries. And if there was anything left out of it after groceries were purchased, I could keep the money to myself. So yeah, it was very, very, very much controlling. He did not want me to spend time with my family. My family and I were very close, although he didn't mind the fact that my mom would babysit for free. So, hello, Bonnie. Good to see you. And the way that he's acting now that Malaya is not there, yes, he's clearly angry, right? He began lashing out right away, right? So let's go ahead and see what Mike DeMann has to say about it. Make sure that you guys can see that all right. Okay.
The worthlessness of the moderation on this particular channel is, wow, it's, anyways, I've said it before. There was one guy, when Logan was on her first live, pointed it out in my videos that he asked some pretty good questions here and there. He got them in here and there. He's really in the back. He's quiet. He's not, they're all yapping, and he's kind of like once in a while he's bringing something in there. And now apparently he's coming on. Now he's part of that team. And as I've said, he actually put some thought into these things from what I've seen and what I have heard. So let's get right to it. He's coming on now. Cheryl is still on. And I already know about one question, but let's see.
all that they care about is where are the children, and that is your common goal, and that's what all of you share.
Shut up. You don't know what they're sharing.
Hey, Jeremy, how are
Yeah, hi, Jeremy. Thank you for coming on. My goodness.
He cracks me up. He really does. Oh my gosh, I didn't expect that. Um, and thank you. You know, that was years ago. Obviously, my girls are in their 40s now. So, um, but you recognize the signs, right? Whenever you see it happening to somebody else. That's why when Malehya said that to Belinda, it's like, oh, I don't know about this, This speaks of control and isolation to me. It's abuse, no matter which way you look at it. I also endured physical abuse with him, which I wouldn't, they usually go hand in hand, right? So, yeah, it's not good. And didn't he say he disciplined Lily and Jack because she didn't? Yes, he did. And they only listened to him. Yeah. uh, and I don't know if I believe he disciplined Lily and Jack? Yeah. Um, was she lenient with her kids and very, she could have been. The creepy message, she will know what that means. Yeah. Almost like a threat, right? Okay, so I just figure if some going to do something, they will do whatever anyways after 18 years old. Women are slick. I won't go in a woman's purse if told passwords or phone. I can't remember mine. Yeah. Yeah. Back when I went through it, we didn't have cell phones, that kind of thing. But yeah, he wouldn't have hesitated going through my purse. Mike is so original. Shut up, he says. Yeah, I'll bet her phone was watched. There was a rumor that they had an argument about Malehya spending money the day before the children were reported missing. And you know what? At the time of the children's disappearance, they stated he was only working 1 day a week at that time. Now, whether he worked more or whatever other times, I don't know. But at the time of their disappearance, he was only working 1 day a week. So, what does that say? He was controlling how Malehya spent her money, her children's money, the money she got for the children. Just saying. I would say he isolated her in the mindless of nowhere. Yeah. Yeah. His family is all around, right? And how much worse would it be if he is only working 1 day a week? He's there constantly. You don't even get a break from him, right? My take on her not speaking is anything she says could implicate her. Well, and that's probably true. Here's the thing though. I mean, her lawyer may have told her not to talk. Um, that it's better off for her if she doesn't, that kind of thing. They will tell you that. Hello, no more lies. Yeah, exactly, JDR. Most of the money was coming from her child benefits. So he was controlling that money. If he was upset about her, how she spent it. I gotta tell you, after I was out of that relationship, nobody ever told me what to do with my money again. And yes, both partners can be manipulated and abusive. The 6 warning signs that I just talked about do not relate to just a woman or just a man. It can be either or. I have seen women, well, I think we've all seen an example of a woman who could do that, and that was Amber Heard, right? Adult goodies came before snacks, clothes for kids. Yeah. I'd like to yank that chain. And not the way you're thinking, Ginger. Like they'll throw it away. Yeah, I think he was in control. No, she doesn't need to talk, in my opinion. She doesn't need to talk. Um, it's better for her that she doesn't, honestly. The only time I believe that parents of missing children should talk to the public is when they are asking for help on mainstream media, and that's where I think they should talk, or at kind of like a vigil or something for their kids, anything like that. And only talking about asking for help to find their missing child. Everything else, they should just talk to law enforcement that's involved. Guys, we are not anyone for them to talk to. Seriously. You know, it only causes drama. Janie throwing everyone off the property shows you who really is control of the property. Yep. And here's an example of a woman who is controlling. Right? Even Durwood, Bewitched Darren, talked about her like she was a woman you don't want to cross. Right? Remember, Janie's got her gun. Hello, Crystal. Good to see you. And that is very true. If Malaya was using anything, then the baby would show signs of that. Especially if she's breastfeeding still. Pokemon boxers. Do you think he bought Pokemon boxers at Temu? You've seen way more abusive women than men. Okay. And for me, I've seen, well, I don't know. I guess I've never actually counted it, but yes, it has caused, well, in this case, Sebastian's case, Summer's case, I mean, they really should stay away, honestly, from YouTube. But let's continue on.
Are you?
No, Susan, sorry, I was just opening up a Cheryl, first and foremost, I want to emphasize my deepest condolences for the situation that Malehya is going through right now. I can't even imagine as a father what she's doing and what she's going.
So mind you, Maleyha's friend, in my opinion, is deceptive as well, but she was not as deceptive in the statements where she revealed. Well, actually, she's not deceptive. She's practicing avoidance. She's avoiding. I mean, she is. Her intentions are there to protect Malehya, right? But she is still giving us. You can tell. You have to differentiate between the statements. So somebody has a certain intention of protecting her friend, but then questions come up about the blanket, the dog, and I still don't know how many dogs are there on the property, but there's definitely one that's very verbose. And her statements about the blanket and the dog, they were credible. They were reliable statements. But of course, she is straight up in terms of saying, I'm not going to talk about Malehya, right? She doesn't. And so she doesn't even put herself into the position where she has to lie. She's just pulling a Chris foot here, right? Where she just goes straight up like, okay, I'm not going to talk about it, but let's see if he can get through her. And of course, he says, my condolences. That's a good way to start because he puts her on the spot into a position where he, at least to the outside, assumes to feel badly for her, what she must be going through. But of course, we don't know what Cheryl actually knows. So, yeah, let's see what's going on.
Thank you.
Huh. A very delayed thank you, because she's like, I guess thank you, right? Because the kids, yeah. Oh, yeah, the kids.
I don't want to ask.
So it's possible that she knows exactly what happened to the kids too. Or she knows something, or she knows parts of it, or she knows the kids ain't coming back but doesn't know any details. Who knows? We will get to that.
The wrong question here, just given the sense of the matter of it. How did and you don't have to, you can just say, no, I'm not going to answer that. And that's totally fine. What ensued with the whole, and this is why I wish I had to come back on when Logan was here. What started the whole argument between family members?
That's I'm definitely not going to touch on.
Yeah. So anything.
So Cheryl said she's not going to talk about the argument. Isn't that interesting? So let me see. Malehya seems like a people pleaser who probably avoids conflict and confrontations. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. And maybe would just run away before she would have a conversation. She sounds a bit too peppy and skippy. There was no frantic. Where are the kids? Well, you don't search for something when you know that where they already are. That's all I have to say about that one. Not too much, Bobby, but welcome in. She definitely knows some, maybe most, but I don't think all of it. Well, hello, Durwood. Just want to let you know we're happy you're here. But we're going to end here we speak to each other respectfully, and that includes me. Okay? So if you have something to say, feel free to say it, but do it respectfully. Hello, Truth and Beauty. The Johnny Depp case made me so mad. Neither loser deserved a dime. If Johnny was an ugly, fat, drunk addict, cheated on his woman with. Well, everybody's got their own opinion on that. I do think that she was controlling. I don't think he was all that great myself. Yes, Tammy, go ahead. Ginger, can you put the Gmail in the chat for me? Only in America. Did Belinda write to someone on the res for sure? Is that confirmed? Yes, I actually saw those. So yes. Yes, he is. All right, let me see. Can we review sometime? Yeah. We can, I guess. We can. I don't like to get into the whole gist of it was it turned into a racism argument, and I don't like that. Because I don't think racism should be part of this case whatsoever. This case is about the children. It's not about racism. It's not about one race being better than the others. And I don't think Belinda feels that way. She was just trying to find out information, and basically the chief kind of went off on her. Now, I don't know if the chief knew who Belinda was. So, could be part of it. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, Bobby. Thank you so much. Oh, Mike, thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate that. Lacey's gonna. All right. Thank you, Tammy. I appreciate that so much. I really try. I really try. All right. Well, I'll tell you guys what. While I am playing Mike's thing, I will see. No, she didn't, Mike. She didn't make it clear, in my opinion. But while we're playing Mike, I'll see if I can find it. Okay. Thank you, Ginger. So there is my email if you guys want it. Okay. All right. So let's play that and I will see if I can find it.
Personal, the accusations, the whatever, I expected that. But let's see what else she's gonna say.
That's fine.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I think that when Logan,
You see, I cannot do what he does. I cannot just, but I guess that's why he gotten to be a part of this channel, because he knows when to talk and when not to talk. Like, I would have asked it in a different way, or a follow-up question, but, you know, again, I'm not the one interviewing them. My channel is not the one that they are volunteering to be on.
was here in the previous chat, Jeremy, Logan had said, and she clarified that because there was a lot of rumor around that the big, huge fight
She
that
loves
broke out
rumors.
was between Daniel and Malaya. And Logan said it absolutely was not. It was
No.
between family members.
No, yeah, okay, so it was not between Maleyha and Daniel. She said, Logan said it, and now Cheryl said no. Yes, I mean, she confirms it. That was not between them. And I do think that Daniel was probably very, he wanted Maleyha to stay. He was probably on his best behavior. But the family members, that's a different story.
Okay. And once again, you can say I'm not going to answer
Good,
that question.
another one.
Daniel said that he did take the polygraph test. Did Malaya end up taking the polygraph?
I'm still not gonna comment on that.
Daniel told us Maleyha took one. So she is very preemptive, just like Chris Proudfoot, in some instances where she basically doesn't want to put herself into the position where she will have to answer the question, well, how did Maleyha do? Silence. Oh God, I can't stand it because that moderator has no clue what to ask. She is so clueless. Her brain is completely blank. She's only happy to have Logan on, and she wants Maleyha and Daniel on. And that's going to be her claim to fame. And she, you know, but again, we have already the CBC. We already have the regulated media in Canada, right? He can go on there and talk his nonsense, but they're probably tired of him. They're probably saying, you know, we don't want any more Daniel until we get something about the kids. There has to be some sort of news or a new development for them to say, okay, let's get that idiot back on because he loves to talk. He ain't going to say no, and Maleyha ain't going to say nothing, right? So they're going to get Daniel on, and who knows, maybe Logan will be with him next time. Maybe she'll say, you know, listen, I'm a little bit smarter than you, and I need to be there with you to make sure that you don't say the wrong thing again, because otherwise I'll have to do damage control.
So what?
Is there anything that Malaya needs right now?
That's a nice question, because now she. That's a really good question, actually. On many different levels. This is a good one.
I think she's okay. We're trying our best just to hold everything together for her.
We are trying. So she's a big part of it. For what?
Her and be there for her, given
Oh, nothing about the children.
all the animosity and
That's the Chris Proudfoot type of answer. When Chris Proudfoot was asked, how are you holding up? And of course, the journalist was referring to Sebastian still being missing. And Katie had to interrupt him and say, oh, by the way, my son is still missing, because Chris only talked about animosity and negativity from people online. Wow. Let's see when the children pop up.
all the public speculation.
Speculation again. Maleyha has a lot to hide, and she knows it. Her friend knows it. She knows about it. She knows at least enough to where she gets the idea.
Everybody's entitled to their
own opinion, of course. Textbook. Chris Watts, Christopher Proudfoot, always being dismissive, putting everything under the umbrella of a speculation and an opinion in a dismissive way. Meaning that whenever I get it right about Maleyha, I must be speculating. I must have an opinion which can include a baseless opinion. That is exactly because she is unable to tell me and unwilling where the public might be wrong.
All right. So let's see. Yeah, basically, and I just tried to find Michelle's Facebook where I saw it on yesterday, and it looks like it's been privated. So basically, Belinda asked her if they were hiding the kids. Could she have gone about it in a different way? Yes, but Belinda is just who she is. She just says it like it is, right? So, evidently, the chief got all up in arms about her asking that. You emailed the chief, and then brought up the racism card and, that kind of thing. So whether Belinda should have gone to RCMP, she just went straight to the source. She's the kid's grandma. I don't think we have any right to judge her because we don't know what we would do in that situation, right? So, I, could she have worded it differently? Maybe, but she is who she is, and she's not going to apologize for that, and she shouldn't. I do think that the chief went a little overboard, especially bringing up the racist card. There was nothing about that. Belinda had been told that the kids were being hid on her reservation. She just wanted to know if that was true. That's all she was asking for. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Yes, please send me any thoughts, any information you might want me to talk about, guys. These conversations are for you. So please, feel free. Yeah. And I would have shown it to you, but I can't find it. The only problems I had was Belinda should approach you, please, to ask those questions and any others she had, but when she's passing on info to a YouTuber, yeah. Our First Nations are a bit upset in our area about the claims Mr. Bewitched is making. I can understand that, right? Especially if those children are not being hidden in their reservation. First of all, I don't see that they would do that. And if Durwood is still here, I would say to him, show us proof. You have not shown one iota of truth since this whole thing came out. We run by facts here on Granny's Crime Busters, don't we, guys? So, show proof, or, get on with your life, because we really are not going to take anything that you have to say that as truth anymore, as factual, not unless you provide it. Yeah. Yeah. You know, I can understand that. Why they would be upset being asked that question. Um, I get that. I get that she would be upset that someone would ask her that question. What I don't get is why she pulled the racism card, because that had nothing to do with what Belinda asked her. Nothing. There wasn't a hint of racism in her question at all. Because not word for word, guys, I'm paraphrasing, but all she said was, "Are you hiding Lily and Jack Sullivan on your reservation?" That has nothing to do with race, that question. I feel bad for Belinda. Text messages and emails do not express tone, and she could have been misinterpreted. Absolutely. And thank you so much. I appreciate that. You guys are such a blessing.
Granny wants to thank you all for kindness in the chat. Super stickers, bright and grand, gifts of love we understand.
Memberships you gifted here spread the joy and banish fear. Every super thanks you send warms her heart and ends the end.
Granny cheers with love so true for each special thing you do. Thank you from her heart. You all play a major part.
Thank you. Truly from my heart. All right. Remember how a few racists were trekking to Ottawa, MSM had egg in the face, and you have to look further than them. I don't know. In my opinion, Grandma has every right to call the chief according to the accusations. Their reply might not be what we want to hear. Yeah, I mean, I think that she had every right to ask them. I don't think there was anything wrong in that. Should she have asked police first? Well, I mean, she just went straight to the source. So, you know, it's just the racist card that I don't agree with. It's all about what the public think. Why care about that? You need to focus on the children, not your likes on Facebook. Maybe the chief wasn't the best person. Maybe a communications person, or even the RCMP office on the reserve. Could have been. I mean, yeah, I don't know. No, Mike doesn't let much slip by. You're Tammy, you're free to say whatever as long as you're not bringing in other creators. and that's the key, right? So here's the thing. Belinda is concerned about her grandbabies. Durwood putting it out there on everywhere that he can talk about that these kids are being held in a reservation. Okay. So Belinda goes right to the source, right to the top. Should she have, that's not for me to judge, but that's what she did. Okay. The chief didn't even say anything about the kids and just got upset right from the get-go. So I don't know. I don't think someone who had not been involved for some years should have done that at all. No, Phoenix, you're not offending anybody. Okay, Tammy, yes, that's fine. So here's the thing. I get that, right? Do you think that Belinda might be kicking herself for not trying harder to see those kids? I'm just saying, it may seem like it's too little too late, but she's probably kicking herself and determined that she's not going to roll over now, right? I mean, I guess that's how I would feel. I don't know. I'm just trying to give her the benefit of the doubt here, guys. Trying to be reasonable. Look at it from her vantage point. She's the only one fighting for these kids. So whether she did fight for them a year and a half in or not, I'm sure she's kicking herself, and she's the only one fighting now. Yeah. The thing is, I don't know that the chief knew that she was a grandmother. So it didn't look like it. If there was something left out of the communication, then that should have been made public, I guess, with everything else. But I have a feeling the chief is getting a lot of flack for what happened. I think we should question the person who put these accusations out into the public. What accusations are you talking about? Yes, Tammy, go ahead and send it to me. And Bonnie, you would have done the same thing. It could be Daniel and Dogwood trying to re-steer the things. It was wrong to do that. Yeah. You will say, okay, gotcha. Hello, Tosima. Well, the correct thing to do is go to the RCMP, not chat rooms, in your opinion. She didn't go to chat rooms. It was the whole incident. The chief put it on her Facebook page, not Belinda. Okay, I want to make that clear, guys. I went right to the chief's Facebook page. It was on her Facebook page, not Belinda's. I looked at both. So I'm just saying. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to cause trouble with First Nation, right? I'm not. I think she handled it badly. And I don't think she should have put it using the racist card on her Facebook page, because that is exactly what she did. I know I couldn't go 18 months without seeing my grandkids living that close. Only see them when mother brought kids. Yeah. No, Mike, you don't have to leave. You don't have to leave. You're entitled to your opinions. You're entitled to your opinions. I would say I understand your new concern for the children, but you may not ask that and then ask the RCMP to have a word. Yeah. In my opinion, we cannot control how others react to the things we say. We can control how we react to things that are said to us. Very true, Ginger. Very true. I agree. 100%. Right. Yes. Don't leave, Mike. I hope you haven't left. I'm so behind on my things. I hope you have not left. Everyone has a right to their opinions here, right? As long as we're being respectful, I don't have a problem with that. And Mike has been respectful. You're not on board with Belinda? Okay. Well, everybody, you can have your own opinion. Seriously, you have that right. Okay. I'm just trying to think from a granny point of view, I guess. That's just me. You bring up a very good point, Tosima. I would have asked the chief how she thought it was racist. Was it because a white person asked a question, right? So I agree, 100%. I agree. I would have said, wait a minute. Where did racism come in here? That would have been what I would have done. I would have said, oh, hold on. Yeah. Thank you, Anna Elizabeth. I appreciate that. Hello, David. Don't forget there was a phone call between Belinda and the chief, and we don't know what Belinda said there. See, that's something I didn't even know, that there was a phone call. So, no. And we don't know what the chief said either, right? All we know is that the chief put it on her Facebook page. And there was no reason for it, which evidently now that page has been privated, so it's no longer available. My question would be, did it come from Belinda or was she encouraged by Daniel and Dogwood? I mean, I don't know. So I think that from everything that I have seen of, in chats and stuff with Belinda, she's open to any information, but she wants it vetted. And I think, in my opinion, that's what she was trying to do, was vet whether those kids were being held on the reservation. Okay, let me just help you there real quickly. So I'm putting the link for you to be able to join. There you go. Referring to Canadian MSM, you cannot take what they say as all there is to it. They got it all wrong about that protest. I'm not sure what you're talking about. I agree, 100%. Even came in here trying to do it. The reserve could have got on top of the nonsense themselves too. Put out a statement. They could have, yes, they could have. Yeah. You know, doesn't it seem like now that the people who are calling somebody a racist, those are the ones who are racist. I mean, you know, it blows my mind, right? We have a reservation 20 miles from here, and I have interacted with many of them on the reservation. I've gone to their casino, you know, dinner and bingo and stuff when my dad was alive. And yeah, I mean, I grew up in Chicago. You can't get any more mixed races than you have in Chicago, you know, and it just blows my mind when I see such garbage. It's just ridiculous. But you can't just contain people and say you are hiding the children. That's not right. Yeah. Who would gain if that Chief and Belinda interaction stirred up a kerfuffle, regardless of either party's correctness, but just taking the focus off something else? Who would gain? Well, there was a lot of First Nation people standing up for their chief. I will say that. There's a protocol to calling, text messaging the chief. Okay. Well, I'm not from Canada, so I don't know. When you consider the history of our First Nations people and how they have been treated, you might understand why reactions get out of hand at times. And so he keeps saying that. Yeah, ironclad, 1,000%, right? Well, you know, in my opinion, that whole drama with the chief and Belinda is Darren's fault. So, Derwood, if you're still here, you're the one to blame for that, because she was trying to vet what you were saying. They called you back today. Gotcha. Exactly, Phoenix. Exactly. That's what I just said. So here is a clear-cut example of why we don't listen to Derwood. He can think I'm the most awful creator. I really don't care. But look at what's happened, right? Look at what's happened because of it. Of all days for him to come in here, I think that's kind of funny. It is about distractions, because what is it doing? Guys, no matter what you think of Belinda and whether she should have called the chief or not or whatever, She's trying to vet what he said. She's trying to get accurate information about Jack and Lily. Right? And that's what it boils down to. I think, didn't she even say that in her interview that she wished she would have done, tried harder? I'm sure she's kicking herself. Belinda heard Durwood saying he told the police. Why did she not go to the police? Everybody thinks differently, right? Everybody has a different. I think what she thought is, I'm just going to go straight to the source. I could be wrong, but I think that's what she thought. Hello, Anan. So Tammy has a voicemail. Why don't you just tell us what the voicemail said, Tammy? Here in the United States, conspiracy is an offense. And if you know where the children are, you can be charged with conspiracy. That's very true. My concern is Belinda being played by Daniel and Dogwood and how awful that is. I agree. Well, Lori, you and I have both said, right? Family speaking out to YouTubers is never a good thing. It causes drama, right? Yes, he did. So you spoke, Tammy, you spoke with somebody at the RCMP today and you have a voicemail. Tell us what the voicemail said. Okay. He said today there's more going on behind the scenes. Always on empty. Hello, hello. I had a boyfriend 15 years. I never called him my partner. Yeah, everybody's different. And Jump As says I would be calling every reservation within 1,000 miles. Just tell us, Tammy. Just tell us what he said. Go ahead and put it in here. She's not welcome in there by the sounds of it. So, yeah, David, we don't talk about other channels here. Okay. Basically, the whole kids are on the res story has been flattened, or is Belinda still thinking they are out there? I don't know. Darren was saying it, so. All tips to the reserve have been followed up upon. Awesome. So, yes, Anna Elizabeth, reverse discrimination, right? Yeah. Such a thing. So, basically, guys, Tammy is saying when she got a message from our CMP today, there's more going on behind the scenes than what we know, and that all tips about the reservation have been followed up on. So guys, if they were there, listen, First Nation works with RCMP. They have RCMP offices on the reservations, guys. So they want to keep, it's in both parties' best interest to keep the line of communication open and to work cohesively. So, I don't think that anything, I never believed that those kids were on the reservation. I did think it for a split second at the beginning of this case, but when I learned more from Ginger about First Nation, I realized there's no way they would put themselves in that position. There's no way. Yes, I'm aware, but maybe other people are not aware. The government and natives were in a huge fight. A lot of kids were found deceased, and allegedly the government hid it from the public. So there had been a lot of fighting going on. They're, the tensions were high, so they're not going to want it to be worse, especially over 2 missing children. Yes. If he comes back in here, please do. Why when family members and the Durwoods get involved on social media? I couldn't have said it better, Lori. This is why when family members and the Durwoods get involved on social media, this is the result. Chaos, drama, people getting upset. And guys, I understand, when you have a strong opinion, it's hard to hold it back, right? It really is. That's why I want this to be a safe place for you to be able to say what you want to say respectfully. And we can always agree to disagree, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Our CMP said today they are well aware of Darren. Imagine that, guys. Durwood, are you still here? They're very aware of you. Who is Belinda? Okay. Belinda is actually the mother of Jack and Lily's dad, because Daniel is not their father. He's only, he's really nothing. Cody Sullivan is Jack and Lily's dad, and Belinda is his mother. He was here. He put in a nasty comment, JDR, and he left. I think he left. He could be listening in the bushes. I don't know. but he knows that in here he won't get away with that garbage. So oh, amen. Justice for Sebastian and all those missing. So I just explained. Belinda is Cody Sullivan's mother. Okay. Cody is Jack and Lily's father. Yes. Yes. Durwood is this case is Stephen Fisher. Stephen Fisher in the Sebastian case was hired to cause distractions. I believe that's exactly what Durwood is trying to do. Or paid or told to do, yes. Granny, but she was showing a personal message between her and Malehya. I agree with you. I agree with you. I don't think that she should have done that at all. No, phone does not work for me, Tammy. I'm sorry. Let me see something here. But you can come up on panel. I'll give you this thing now. Everybody, please. Tammy Burke is the only one allowed to do this, okay? You can click on this link. He has you blocked. You're welcome, Bobby. I try to stick with factual information. You called Stephen fish sticks now? Very true. Very true. At some point. So no, I did play that earlier. Yeah, Tammy, if you click on that link, you can go live stream. I've never done it before, so it'll be a learning experience for both of us. Possibly, but I think he could really be charged for obstruction of justice for sure. No, Jonathan has not been found yet. Click on this link. And then, I mean, follow instructions, I guess. I don't know. But yes, there would, I mean, he could be charged. I don't know about conspiracy, but obstruction of justice for sure. Very much so. Um, whichever one you want. Even if your opinion differs, I think it's important to try to be respectful. Exactly, Phoenix. Always, always. There's no, we're all adults, right? There's no reason to be disrespectful to each other. Yep. The people making stories up like maggot flies are going to feel bad when the truth comes out in the end. I agree with you 100%. Really do. Hello, Christy. Mother and stepfather in custody as of earlier today. Very bad situation. Oh no. For little Herschel? That's awful. I'm sorry to hear that. Hello.
Hi, Granny. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm good. Great. So I'm here.
Can you turn
Can you
off?
turn off?
I can hear
I can hear you probably hear
myself
myself
talking through your
talking
thing.
through your thing. Oh, okay, right now because I have the Bluetooth. We had a bit of music earlier, so I'm just gonna unplug the Bluetooth and let's see if that helps. And then I'll go to my settings and I'll take off the Bluetooth. 1 second.
Okay. So, Phoenix, I would think so. RCMP, we're going to hear more from Tammy, but I would really think that, if they have, if RCMP have already followed every lead, that they've rolled a reservation out, in my opinion. I know, our first guest, right? How about that? Oh yeah, where's Walla tonight, huh? I never bought his story. I never bought his story.
There, Granny, are you
All
here?
right.
Are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, I had to click the
Can you hear
Google
me?
to share my image. I apologize. I'm so sorry.
That's all right. Not a problem.
Okay, so what happened
All
was,
right. So you said you got a voicemail today.
yes, I did.
Okay.
So how can I play
Tell
that?
me about it.
I called about 3 weeks ago because of Darren's story saying that they were at the reserve, what have you. So finally today I got a call back and I did talk to the RCMP and he did say, we are well aware. So Darren, sorry guys, but I can give his name. I don't know how I can put his voicemail on here. How can I do that? For his name.
If you hold your phone up to your speaker, to your microphone,
No, I'm on a cell phone.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay, but I can three-way you at any time you're available and put you over to the call. I know that much.
Yeah, I can't
Right.
do that because of my hearing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I
Okay.
don't hear
Well,
anything on a phone at all.
I know his name is Constable Sean something, but he called me back today and he did say, Tammy, I know you called like 3 weeks or more ago and I'm just following up. So then I said, hi, officer.
Gotcha.
I said, I'm calling because of the children in Nova Scotia. I guess he already knew, but I just voiced that I'm calling it from the Sullivan Children Missing out of Nova Scotia. He said, yes. He said, I understand that you put in a tip. And I said, well, Darren did ask us. So Darren, if you're listening, when you're on, can I mention the name of the channels, Granny? For Darren?
If what?
Can I mention the name of the channel that Darren was on that said for people to call in?
He came on today.
No, but he was on a channel about 3 weeks ago and asked people to call the RCMP because they're not listening to him. And he was on it's a crime and shame. And he said, people, please call in and say that I believe they're on the reserve. So that's what I did. I should have thought of it before I did it, but I did call, worrying about the children. And so they called me back today. And he said, Tammy, we are well aware of Darren Genny. I don't know his name, but Darren Durwood O'Grady.
Darren and Durwood, he goes by.
And then I was trying to feel the officer out because normally I didn't know he was going to cut me off and say, okay, well, okay, thank you, Tammy, for the tip or whatever. But he did continue to talk for a few minutes. And I do have proof of that. And I can even three-way him back again, I'm sure. Because the RCMP in Canada are very friendly, to be honest. And anyways, he said, Tammy, we follow up on all tips. All tips. And I said, yeah. And I said, a lot's going on in speculation with YouTube and stuff like that. The kids are on the reservation. And he said, Tammy, there is more going on behind the scenes of YouTube. Exact words.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I think they have something. I'm hoping they do. But and I said, officer, don't charge me. I'm scared of getting charged, right? So I said, officer, I think you should arrest both parents. Their stories don't add up. And he listened to me. And he said, Tammy, we're doing everything. There's a lot going on, more than people know behind the scenes. And I said, I read on the YouTube, I read on Google that they can be detained in Canada for 24 hours. And I said, I hope you're doing that. And I said, hopefully you will eventually come to an arrest. I said, Tammy, thank you so much. And I said, take care. Thank you. Bye-bye. That was it. But
Cool.
that's all I wanted to verify. And I have the number right on my phone. I have the message, and I will even call him back. If no one believes me, I will call him back and say, sorry, I misunderstood what you said. Can you please repeat? I have 4 children, and one that is in a wheelchair, special needs, and I have 4 grandchildren. I'm not going to lie for people like this. Like, no, it's not me.
Yeah.
So, but
Right.
yesterday I was thinking, because they called me back yesterday with the cadaver dogs, because on It's a Crime and Shame, everybody was saying they were debating and there was a lot of hatred and arguments over if the cadaver dogs were called in. And I said, well, you know what? I was thinking to myself, okay, let's raise money. But I didn't say that in chat. Someone else mentioned it. So I said, you know what? I'm going to call myself. When it comes to kids, I don't care who I call. I really don't. So I called the RCP yesterday. She said, Tammy. Well, I told her my name, right? And she said, we're not, honest words, God strike me dead tonight. She said, we're not that stupid. The RCMP have every resource out there. And the cadaver dogs have been. I said, because people want to raise a GoFundMe page. So can you please let me know if the cadaver dogs were out there instead of people wasting the money? And she said, hold on a second. And then she came back and told me the RCP are not as stupid as people think they are. I don't know why she said that. And I said, okay, so what can I relay online? She said, you just tell them every source was sourced. God strike me dead.
Yeah.
I have no reason. I have the pictures on my phone. I have the voicemail on my phone. And anybody doesn't believe me, I'll give you my number right now. I have a friend that's an RCMP officer out of Summerside, PEI. His name is Andrew Griffin. You can look him up. You can call there and ask for him. Ask me, know me. And I have an officer in Kensington, PEI, where I grew up, that I know, Paul Cousins. So if nobody believes me, that's fine. But you can call them districts and ask.
Well, we do believe you. And I
Right, you
think
know
that
what I
the
mean?
best thing to do is not to play
But I don't want to throw it out there because people think that they're going to attack me, right? So I wasn't sure. That's why I said, should I email you? And I said, you know what? No, I'm being truthful. I'm going to throw it right out there. You know what I mean?
No.
I have no reason to
No,
lie.
the fact that you were willing to come right up on panel
Yes.
and say what you said.
Mhm.
You also told me yesterday in chat that about the cadaver dogs, and that they said we have sourced everything.
Yes.
You told me that. So I think I'm seeing it here. Most everyone believes what you're saying. But I don't think that we should play a law enforcement officer on our live. Because that just could cause issues.
You know what I was thinking on doing, Granny?
What?
Never had, I was actually know the PEI officers. He's retired now. He's in Paul Cousins. He's from Kensington. My cousin's the mayor of Kensington, PEI, first cousin. And Paul Cousins was chief for years. I was actually going to contact him and ask if he would come up on a panel, but I'm kind of shy to ask him. You know what I mean? I know him a little bit, but because my cousin's the mayor for years there, but I don't know, I don't want to put him in a spot either. You know what I mean? Because he is an ex-detective.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? But,
right.
So.
Right.
And
yeah.
When they said the cadaver dogs were out yesterday, Granny, I was kind of like, oh no, that means they're never going to find them, right? Because I know when you think about it, when they put cadaver dogs out, how far is too far to search? You know what I mean? Like these dogs can't keep going and going and going and going and going, right? So I was thinking, oh no, I had this trying to think.
The thing that
I was
the
scared.
thing that bothers me is if they use the cadaver dogs inside the home.
Mm-hmm.
that means that the kids didn't die there.
Right.
So
So that's what I'm thinking.
that
Randy.
kind of throws what I think out the window. Not that I'm right. I mean, I don't know, right?
But
But
think about it. If they did unalive them in the house, they wouldn't want to put any kind of blood substances or you know what I mean. I don't think in the house, right?
right. So I don't know. I mean,
My heart's broken. I cried. It's like so many days of this, and you know, I feel for all kids, but growing up in the East Coast, like this really hit hard, and I don't know.
yeah.
Like, it's sad. It really is.
Phoenix says my theory was whatever they wanted to hide was put on a surrounding neighbor's property.
I think it's farther than what they search. I believe that they're. I don't know. I think with that ATV, my honest heart tells me that they transported them two packages. I don't know. My theory on them on that ATV.
Yeah, I mean,
I really don't.
that's always a possibility.
Right?
I
And
just
Daniel-
really feel like the fact that they have not found the kids in the woods, that they
Right.
took them to the Bay of Fundy, but
Exactly.
because then they will never be found.
Right?
And they can never prove what was done to them, right?
Exactly.
Whether they were whether it was accidental or intentional, that can never be proved without bodies, right?
But Granny,
Unless
even if my concern is, even if they were found, okay, let's what do you call allegedly say the children are found, okay, in a body of water. How can they prove they've done it? Unless they have like the coroner sees like strangulation marks on
there
them.
are ways to tell, and the reason that I'm in some cases, I should clarify, because I'm thinking of the Gabby Petito case where Gabby's body had been buried and dug up by animals when she was but they were able to tell that she had been strangled.
See, because of the marks and stuff, the strangulation
because of the
marks,
neck
right?
and the so there are ways for them to figure things out, but I think it depends on what happened, right?
Exactly. And I read too that, like, remember the alleged conversation was like they got into some drugs and stuff. I read online for deceased body on Google that it can last for weeks to months in their system. So maybe that's another thing. Like, if they do find drugs, I don't know how, like, I'm not sure how they can prove that it's them, I don't
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I really don't know.
I don't know. I'm hoping I really think here's what I'm banking on. I really do not think that Malehya or Daniel are very strong.
No, I agree.
So, as human beings, I'm thinking of like Chris Proudfoot and Katie Proudfoot. Those are two strong individuals. You know what I'm saying? They are strong. I think it's going to ever take a lot for them to crack.
Yeah.
But I don't think Malehya and Daniel are strong in that way.
And you know what, Granny? I forgot to mention a point. Sorry. I did mention a point today that to the RCMP, I said, obviously you can see on the interview that Malehya is timid. And I said, if you take her in for 24 hours, which online it says that you can, and you slam papers, the way I've seen forensic files, how they slam papers and stuff. And I said, she's going to break, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe the officer was feeling bad because I said,
Ginger brings up a really good point. The cadaver dog could have picked up death in the home We won't know until the case goes to court.
No, they would have. Yeah, but they would have been charged, wouldn't they?
Huh?
If
They're
they
not
took
going to
the,
tell us. They're not going to tell us.
they would say arrest has been made. No.
They still need the bodies. So even if the cadaver dogs
But Granny, if you think
picked
about
up,
it, they said the kids slept out. So if they're found deceased in the house, that would totally throw that statement out the door because they're inside the house, and if somebody came in and killed them,
no. What we're saying is that the cadaver dogs could have picked up the scent of death in the home. Not that the kids are in the home, but the scent of death in the home. And they're not, the RCMP is not going to tell us that they picked that up.
but wouldn't they have already made an arrest for second degree or first degree murder? No.
No, because they're going to want the bodies. That's what they're waiting on, in my opinion.
And that's what I think. You know what? I'm scared that I don't know. Yesterday, before I talked to him with the cadaver dogs, I thought the case was going cold, and then they were saying. Then today he said that when he coming back with the cadaver dogs, and then today he said that they know more behind the scenes. I was thinking, okay. So yesterday I was giving false hope with the cadaver dogs. Then today, when he said they're doing more behind the scenes, they know more behind the scenes. Sorry, than what YouTube or online speculation all this is. So it kind of threw me through a loop from yesterday to today, right? So
Right.
I don't know what to think now. I really don't.
Oh, I have felt all along. It's too early to be a cold case. You know, we're only a little over 2 months in. It's too early to be a cold case. And I really feel like they have a lot more information than we know.
Exactly.
And they're doing, I mean, think about all the hours that it takes to go through video alone, guys. So I just really feel like.
And then more tips are coming in. And they said yesterday, right? He said, Tammy, I cannot direct. I told him who I was. He called me Tammy. He said, I cannot directly tell you about the case itself, right? But or the but he said there are tips coming in. That's nothing to hide, right?
Right.
Or they've investigated all these 600 tips. But he said all he said yesterday was there's more. They know more behind the scenes than what's out there.
Yes,
So
absolutely. They're not going to tell us everything they know.
100%.
And Ginger brought up a good point that they're not going to tell us if cadaver dogs picked up the scent of death inside the home.
Exactly.
They're not going to let that be known until they have bodies
they've got,
that they can prove that. And now what that does tell me is that if the ATV was used and it's so clean, you guys all of you that have been having a conniption.
I have been
And I say that with love.
ATV.
I say that with love, but I'm just saying that
the property.
everyone who in this chat who has said, there's something about the ATV being clean. There's something about that, well, maybe so, because maybe, they cleaned off everything because of the scent. I mean,
right. That's what I think.
Could very well be.
And everybody's saying, you know what? I don't know if it was Ken Corbett or someone that said to me somewhere along the line that, or no, amenity is it EMENTEY? She's probably online or he. But I remember yesterday you saying that I was thinking that they'd go through woods, and he, EMENTY, stated that they probably didn't go through woods because of all the camera footage with the wild. You know how people they do a lot of hunting down there. I know because my ex-husband's down there. Down there, he's a hunter, right? So they have a lot of camera footages to track animals, right? So he meant M&T. I can't even pronounce EMENTY. Made a good point, but then I was thinking, with the lack of cameras being a rural area, because I know Nova Scotia, like It's PEI, Newfoundland. It's all the same. You know, right? I grew up there. I grew up in 2 provinces out of 3. So, and I'm almost 50 years old. And I know about the hunting situation because my ex-husband's family are all hunters. But he's probably right that they probably have more footage. But and on the highways down there, they probably have a camera every what? I don't know. M&T. What, every 5 kilometers? Kent Corbett was trying to explain it, but I don't know. I think just Daniel, myself, my own opinion, he knows the woods on the back of his hand. My
Hey,
opinion.
Tammy, hold on just a second.
Yeah.
Just a second.
Sure.
Durwood, you know,
Okay.
you're more than welcome to be in here, but if you cannot talk nice,
I'm
just
fine with
leave.
it. Granny,
Or
I'm fine with it.
or
I'm fine with it. I will talk to
I'm not.
police. Oh, I'm
I'm
sorry.
not. This is my channel.
I'm
I
sorry.
will not allow anyone to come in here and be disrespectful to me or anyone else in my chat. So Durwood, either stop it or you're going to get banned.
Okay, but Durwood,
I don't like to do it, but I'm just telling you, you either be nice or go away.
Granny, do you mind if I
All
approach
right.
that? Do you mind if I approach him in a nice way?
Post what?
Do you mind if I approach Durwood a day?
I don't care. Yeah, Durwood, people have questions for you. Why did you say the children were on the reservation when they're not? So, guys, I'm sorry about that. We're kind of having an exciting night, aren't we? And Ginger said, I do not think there's a limitation time for this type of crime. Yeah. Oh, it's being investigated under the Missing Children's Act. That makes sense. Makes sense. I guess he just likes to insult people. You're muted, Tammy. Okay. So it looks like Tammy dropped off. I agree with you, Lori. It's better not entertaining Durwood. Yes. That's okay. No worries. No worries. No worries. What an interesting night, huh, guys? Interesting night. Yes, if they are dead, there will be consequences. Most definitely, right? And if there's a lot going on behind the scenes, as you know, what Tammy just said, which I have always felt, you know, I think somebody last night said that they thought it was going cold. I don't believe that at all. I just don't believe it. It's too soon. And I really feel like, you know, that we have to be patient, right? We have to be patient. Yeah, Tammy, no worries. That's all right. Maybe try this another night. We're already almost 2 hours in, so No, he's not sending private messages. No more lies. Her camera isn't still on though. You didn't see anything. Oh, he called us all a bunch of loonies. No more lies. And he said something derogatory about me as well. Another bad creator or something. I don't know. He's, you know, if he feels that way, I don't know why he's in here then. You know, if he doesn't like us, well, then he should just go somewhere else, right? You didn't see anything you typed, huh? Well, he was in here. He was in here, but this was one of them. That was his last one that he did. The other one was early on. It was way early in our conversation, I think. I don't even know if I could find it. Just looking here. Oh, right here's the other one. So that one was on me. He thinks I'm a sadly pathetic, useless podcaster. But, you know, he's all that. So he did the same in someone else's. Yeah. Yeah, he's just trying to cause trouble. You know, Darren, you shouldn't be projecting yourself onto others. Yeah. Yeah, he's just trying to cause trouble. You know, he's a troublemaker. That's what he is, right? He's just a troublemaker. Well, I just showed him on screen. I just showed both of them. It's Saturday night. Maybe he's having a couple of brews. Yeah, could be. You know, gets bold. But, you know, I mean, it's good to know that there's a lot more going on behind the scenes, right? I think that's awesome. And it's great that they're answering when people call, right? And they're calling back. He's always lurking in and out of these shows, probably secretly crapping his pants. You know, if they don't get him for obstruction of justice, I'll be surprised. Saturday night, looking for attention. Yeah. Well, I don't just block people. Little things amuse little minds. You know, but obviously he, you know, he's just a problem. And so he may get blocked. You know, if he's not gonna behave himself, I don't, you know, even though I don't agree with him, I can be nice with him. I can be respectful to him. I don't have a problem with that. But I expect the same in return. That's all I ask. And I think you guys know that, right? You guys know that. Yeah. And we appreciate you coming on tonight, Tammy. Thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that. And yeah, I would be very careful though. You may have other opportunity to, but I would not put that voicemail online if I were you, because it is law enforcement. So I wouldn't do that. It's just like I had reached out to law enforcement in the Emma Baum case, and they were very nice. They answered me back. I told everybody what they said, but I didn't show it. And I felt that was very important, right? It's kind of the same thing as having a private conversation by messenger with somebody and then showing it. Unless they're okay with that, I just wouldn't do it. He's obviously a non-player, knows nothing, and wants to be the star, but failing to deliver. Yeah. Hello, Fran. Good to see you. And that is the problem, Bonnie. He doesn't respect other people's opinions. Exactly. He really doesn't. Yeah, exactly, Ginger. All opinions are welcome. We just need to be kind to each other, right? We don't go off on each other. We never do. It's not allowed here. Too much time on his hands. Yeah. What a miserable life. I mean, to go around, guys, to go around different chats and be rude and disrespectful to other people. It's just, so, since we're going on a couple hours here, I am going to show you my grannyism for today. Since we were talking about emotional abuse, I think we all experienced some of that tonight. What do you think? Emotional abuse is any time of abuse that is not physical in nature. It can include anything from verbal abuse to the silent treatment, domination to subtle manipulation. So, I think that it's very possible that Malehya was receiving some type of emotional abuse from Daniel. But I guess I'd want to know more, right? And she seems to be the type of personality that would be susceptible to this kind of thing, because that's the type of personality I was when I experienced it. I learned very quickly after I got out of that marriage. No one was going to ever do that to me again, right? So I think that I'd want to know more. I'd want to know more. Her just saying that Daniel, didn't want her bringing the kids in, didn't want to give out the address. I don't know, that's not enough, in my opinion. But it's very possible. Very possible. I can understand the life of me, any family members concerned about these children. Yeah. Um, you know, social media can be such an ugly place, can it? And I mean, we even, kind of experienced that tonight, right? But that's why I strive to create a safe place for everybody to come to. Um, and yeah, Malaya said she trusted the RC. She did. She did. She said that. Thank you, Tammy. I appreciate that. Thank you. And you guys, mean so much to me. You've all been incredible. We have built such a great family here, and I look forward to our chats every night. And Ginger, you know what? Just go ahead and ban Durwood. I'm done with his mess. We don't need that here, right? So just go ahead and ban that man. Because we don't need that kind of garbage, right? Do we have questions for him? Of course, there's questions that we could ask him, but you know what? I don't think he'd give us the answers, the truthful answers anyway, and he can't be respectful. So I don't want him here. That is disturbing, right? When they go and they watch how to get away with things, they're learning from online content, and that is really disturbing. Really disturbing. Another good night. We can still all be friends, even though we sometimes disagree, but we all have kindness at heart. I agree. Was he on again? No, just the twice. But is he in the... Yeah, exactly. That's why I told her to go ahead and just... Thank you, Osprey. I appreciate that. Um, that's always been my goal. We just have a good, kind... We don't all agree all the time, right? We don't. But that's okay. Because everyone in here is respectful. Everyone's respectful, and I appreciate that so much, you guys. I really do. Appreciate each and every one of you. And again, Tammy, thank you so much. Ginger, he's a bush dweller, yes. Ginger, I appreciate you more than you know. Really so much. For those of you, if you've wondered where K9 has been, she's spending the summer with her family, and honestly, she gets... true crime can get pretty dark, right? And so sometimes, we just need a break. And so, but she is spending summer with her family, and she pops in here and there. So, thank you, Lori. I appreciate that. Oh, thank you. I certainly hope so. By sticking to the truth and getting, my heart is for the lost, the missing, the victims, right? And I'm really very focused on trying to bring facts. Not that we can't talk scenarios about what we think might have happened, right? But we all know that we are talking scenarios. We're not talking facts. But we keep the facts at the forefront, right? A bush dweller. Yeah, absolutely. All right. So that's all I really had for you guys. I want to thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sticking it out, putting up with Mr. Bewitched. And we'll get him banned and we won't deal with him anymore at all. So have a great night, you guys, and we will see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching another episode of Granny's Crime Busters. We really appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget to subscribe and like and even share the content. You can follow us on any of our other social media platforms at YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We really appreciate you guys, and you can also email us at granniescrimebusters@gmail.com. Thank you so much, and we will see you on the next one.